What is up, YouTube? N64 fun time coming at you today. I was a little uninspired today, but I think that's okay. I think we all kind of go through that a little bit. So what I thought I would do is, I know a lot of people already covered the Nintendo Nindies Direct a few weeks ago, or I think it was last week or something like that. And they kind of gave the reactions to it. But I'm going to give you the games that I'm probably going to buy or take a look at versus the games that, maybe I might see a little more in depth when more trailers come out, and then the games I might not really like, I guess. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of talk about the Nindies. I'm not going to go through all of it because I think that's just going to be a lot. So we're just going to go through a few games that I thought looked really amazing, and yeah, we'll go from there. So the first game that really caught my attention, and a lot of it was simply just the audio. I am an audio freak when it comes to video games. Great music brings a good game and atmosphere, and one of the things that I loved about this game was the music, and that's Just Shapes and Beats. Now, it looked like it was kind of like a rhythm-style game with pretty superb graphics. It kind of reminded me of games like maybe Rez or Thumper, where you're timing button presses to music. I think that's what the game is going to be like. But what's cool about this music is it's my style of music. It's electronic music, it's fast, it's heart-pumping, and it looks like it can get absolutely crazy. And I really liked the visuals where you're almost like flying around, and like it looked like at one point you had like a mini boss battle, and they describe it as like a bullet hell shooter. So like you're progressing through this level with, it looks like, beat based pressing and stuff like that, and it looked very intriguing. The game just in general, it looked crazy, it looked hectic, but the music is what looked so good. What's cool is it looks like there's like a campaign mode to it as well, which looked pretty cool as well. So Just Shaped and Beats looked really, really cool. I'm really excited to pick that one up. I don't know if they release prices for any of these games that I'm going to talk about yet, but typically these indie games are under the $20 level, so they're all relatively affordable. And what I'm kind of excited for is I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley, and it's kind of like reinvigorated like how awesome these indie developed games can be. There's a lot of really good ones, there really, really are, but I feel like for me sometimes they get washed out by those bigger games that I want to play. But Stardew Valley kind of reinvigorated kind of my love for these indie games. So these next two games that I'm really intrigued by, that I really want to play, I feel like I can kind of group them together because they're extremely fast-paced games, ninja-style games, and there's a lot of like speedrunner style games, and I think this is kind of that. But to me, they're a lot of fun because of the difficulty factor, and each one looked like it brought in something unique to it. The first one being Lightfall. You have a very small character on the screen, similar to like what Meat Boy kind of was, where you're this small character, and I know that kind of spawned a lot of these style games where it's very quick, very difficult, and you're just moving very quickly throughout your board, but it's very like zoomed in. Lightfall in particular looked like there was a lot of depth to the game. I don't know if they call it parallax scrolling anymore, because it's really not scrolling stuff, it's just depth, multiple layers behind you. It just looked really cool. The graphic style looked really cool. It looked very dark, and it was a very fast, frantic game, basically like a platformer. You're jumping, and it looked like you had this cube that you would put out and take away, and be able to jump up to higher levels and stuff like that. And that looked really, really cool. And like I said, for the speedrunner community, that was probably a little bit more exciting, but for me it looked like a challenging, beautiful looking game. I like that style of graphics where it's kind of shaded, really dark shadow style. Really beautiful. And then the next one that looked kind of like a speedrunner style game / meets Ninja Gaiden is The Messenger. And what was cool about this, what was cool that they brought into this one was the switching back and forth between a 16-bit style game and an 8-bit style game. And what they highlighted in the Nindies thing was not only did the graphic style change, but the music actually changed from 16-bit to 8-bit when you flip-flopped back and forth. And I thought that was really, really cool. And again, that one was one where the music really was like, whoa, this is really cool. Got my heart pumping and got me really excited for that style of fast-paced platformer sort of thing. And like I said, it reminded me a lot of Ninja Gaiden, but just like way faster and hectic and crazy and moving from screen to screen. So that's pretty cool. Now these next two I'm going to talk about maybe weren't ones that I was like, whoa, that's like so cool, but they were games that I was definitely interested in and would like to see more about. The first one being, I believe it's called Pode, P-O-D-E, and that one looked really cool because it was a two-person based puzzle solver. The one thing I didn't necessarily like is it looked like there's a little bit of like a isometric view with each board or each screen you play as, which I'm not super excited about in puzzle solving games because sometimes that can be a little bit disorienting where you are, where to put stuff. But it looked really, really, really beautiful. It just absolutely gorgeous game, and I think that's what caught my attention first. The colors and the lighting was really beautiful in that game, and they didn't show like really what the puzzle solving was. It did, really showcase the fact that hey, this is a two-player thing. But I love that style of puzzle solving, but we didn't really get to see a lot, so I'd like to see more on that game. That game really intrigued me, but I would definitely like to see more on that game. The next game that really intrigued me, but I really want to see the price first because I just don't know how it would be, was West of Loathing, and it was basically like a black and white stick figure Western style game. It looked like it was digital comic style, not necessarily digital comic, but like click-based, speech bubbles and stuff like that. But it looked like it would be very funny. I love games that are lighthearted, make you laugh a little bit, and it's kind of creative. Like, who would think of making a stick figure game, but not only making a stick figure game, but making it a Western with a little bit of comedy in it? I know people are so into graphics, and I talked about all these games that the graphics, the music, the audio, and stuff like that. I like a game that's just creative and can do something a little bit different. And that one really caught my eye for, hey, this is so much different than everything else in this Nindies thing. And like I said, I want to see more, and I want to see the price before I maybe say, hey, West of Loathing looks pretty good. And then a few other ones that maybe caught my eye, but not necessarily I would purchase right away. Two was the chicken one. I believe it was called Bomb Chicken. I don't know if that came out for other platforms too, but that one looked like it might be fun, maybe fast-paced puzzle solving sort of thing. And honestly, those were really the ones that stood out to me. Those were just the 6 that stood out to me. They looked like there were plenty of great games in the Nindies Direct, but the other ones I definitely maybe would wait for other reviews and just my opinions on there. But those are the ones that I was excited for. Those are the ones that caught my eye in the Nindies Direct. And I also want to say I think it's a really cool thing that they're doing this for a few reasons. There's a lot of indie games coming out for the Switch, and I feel like some of the really good games can get buried in how much stuff is coming out constantly. And these kind of help sort out the ones that maybe are going to be really good or the ones that are going to be really unique. So I appreciate that they're doing this. The other bad thing is if there are some indie games that aren't really necessarily covered in these Nindy reviews, they may get buried as well. So it's kind of a good-bad thing that they're doing these. But I also think it's really cool that Nintendo is saying, hey, Nindies are going to be carrying the Switch when there's some lulls in Nintendo large games. So it's cool that they're saying, hey, these are important. These are what people want to buy the Switch for, to take these games portably too. So that's really, really cool that they're doing that. So I don't know, kind of like an older, topic, but I really wanted to share kind of my opinions and the games that I really enjoyed in the Nindies preview for the spring 2018. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope these are just my opinions. So there you go. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I do plenty of fun stuff there. And like and subscribe down below. I always appreciate a subscribe, and I always appreciate, the last few weeks I've had a ton of new subscribers, so thank you so much for that. Thursday we're going to be playing some brand new GoldenEye mods for the Nintendo 64, so I'm actually really excited for that. So that's coming up Thursday. But anyway, Nintendo 64 fun time. Be nice, stay positive, always be gaming.